Good evening, Bobcats fans, and welcome to this week's Coach's Corner. Coach Riggs, Friday night was a probably example of just the way the season's been going. We moved the ball well offensively at times, had a couple passes drop. We threw one pass, long pass that could have been a touchdown right off the fingertips. They was backed up in the hole. They threw the long pass on their fingertips. They catch it, and that's just the way the season's been going. But, Coach, it was a typical Andalusia ball game. It was a hard fought, everybody getting at each other, and just a break or two here or there, we could have come out a winner.
Well, that's true, Randy. It was, going in, I felt like, Andalusia would play well. They did. I felt like that we would play better than we had probably played in a while, and I thought we did some of that too. Some of the things we've been having some problems with earlier in the year and late in the year as far as turnovers and things like that, we didn't have the other night. We probably had our one of the better defensive efforts we've had in quite a while, and we had some problems early containing their quarterback. We kind of knew that was going to be a key to the ball game, but as far as from our offensive standpoint, we moved the ball on them, but we never got that turnover down there that we could stick in. We never made the big play, and it seemed like every time we drive a ball down, make 2 or 3 first downs, and then had some kind of something happen to us, that ended up causing us to turn the ball back over. But the score ended up 21-7, but we were in the ball game all the way to the very end down there. We just didn't quite get it in. I still had hopes at the end when we had the ball down there inside the 5-yard line, and there's only a minute or less than a minute left. But if you can score, you got a chance for an onside kick and get the ball back. And I still had hope for that, but we didn't quite get it done. But it's credit to our players. We fought hard. I thought they played with a lot of heart the other night. I thought our defense fought hard under trying circumstances, particularly after we lost Gary Harrell during the ball game and that kind of thing. But we just didn't quite get the job done. And Andalusia has a good football team, and they executed things a little better and ended up winning the ball game.
Well, Coach, looking back down through our season, I know it's been a disappointment to you, but we go back down through the season. I've just been sitting here thinking while you was talking. It's hard for me to think a lot, but I got thinking about our schedule. We've talked some about the schedule during the year, and I haven't talked to you about this before, but going back down it, I believe Pike County, Elba, Daleville, Greenville, Andalusia. You may see some more, but I believe there's 5 teams I know of our schedules in the state playoff. If I missed one anywhere down the line that else might be, and that's pretty good, a pretty tough schedule when you play at least 5. And like I said, I may have missed a couple. Now, did I mention T.R. Miller?
Yeah, they definitely
have. I mentioned, I don't know, that may be 6 teams that's in the state playoff that we play this year, and so that's a pretty tough little schedule we play in.
Well, it is, and there's just, we played poorly early, and we didn't. Sometimes you don't play well, and for a week or two, and you lose some of your confidence, which happens to us, and you get one of those games that you can go in and win, and kind of builds your confidence back. And we didn't have one of those anywhere. It just seemed like it got tougher week after week after week. We never did really get a break in there. But going into the season, I felt like that every, we could play with everybody on our schedule, but I knew we'd have to play well every week. And we just, beginning of the year, we would just seem to be playing a notch below everybody, and we never did build our confidence up enough to maintain what we were going to have to do to be able to win those games.
All right, Coach, we'll take a break here, and then we'll get into the action Friday night with Andalusia. Sterling was the first one to be introduced, and she wasn't on the film, so we'll have to give her a little extra recognition because we didn't have her picture on there. So that's the cheerleaders, and they're doing a tremendous job this year, Coach.
Well, they did, and, during there wasn't a whole lot to yell about at times. I guess that's that way in all football seasons, but they did a good job, I thought, of trying to keep spirit up and doing exactly what their job is, to lead the cheers and keep spirit up around, and we appreciate that. Appreciate Kathy, who spent a lot of time with them, and tell you it's
a lot of problems with that too, Coach. She has her headaches.
Well, it's like everything else, and that's not a job, in my understanding, that they pay a lot of money for, and that's she's awful good to maintain that. There's a lot of work and time that is involved in that, and there they come out there at the opening of the ball game, and our captains for the game our permanent team captains were elected by the squad on Thursday, and they elected Gary Harrell and Judd Booth as their permanent team captains for this year, and so they served as captains for the Andalusia game. And I see Booger down there, Randy. He's down there trying to get all that helmet straight and stuff like that for the ball game. I don't know what we do without him and Lee and all our managers, Tim and Kyle, and the guys that work with us and do so much for us down there.
Yeah, I saw Coach Grimes. He was pretty fired up for the game coming out there. He was ready to go, too. But that was the band. The band dressed up in Halloween suits Friday night. That's something new, and that looked real sharp. Did a good job of that. And Coach here is opening kickoff. Bobcats kicking off to Andalusia.
I tell you, this late in the season, too, I thought the field was in really good condition, and Donnie did a real good job of lining it all, fixing it up, looked really sharp, and we opened up the kick ball game here, and I tell you, their quarterback does just about everything for them. He returns punts and kickoffs and touches the ball on every play and doesn't let anybody else have it about half the time. And
Brad Gooden and Gary Harrell made the tackle, the kickoff.
Does a good job. They come out here, doesn't take them long to score. They came out in the wishbone, started running 2 tight ends, and their basic plan was they gave a little fake to one back and let the other 2 backs block our defensive end and just let their quarterback get what he could. And I'm gonna tell you, he's years I've coached, there haven't been many times that I've faced as a coach anybody that was any quicker than he is. That's a good tough run up inside by their fullback up there. I think Johnny Leonard staying good and get him on the ground. But their basic game plan was for him to run the football, and there was no doubt they were going. They didn't make any pretense about trying to win the ball game with anybody else. They tried to win the ball game with him. And you see here they do a good job taking our linebacker out here and get a good block downfield, good execution by them. And I think 3 plays, and they in the end zone. And I tell you, to credit to our kids and our defensive kids, it took us a little while to get that thing worked out. But in the second half, they came back and we really got after him and did a good job. And did a good job of containing him much better than we were there, and forced him to cut back. And our lineman got up off the ground, ran down the line of scrimmage, and made some plays on him later on. And so that's not an easy thing to defend when you got somebody that talented playing quarterback.
What do they do that for, Coach? Get ready to
well, they just like they're gonna kick an onside kick and then kind of force you to defend that every time. I think OBT returns kickoff to the 35-yard line here, so we start things out, and we need to get something rolling here.
Almost broke first play.
Well, we came here and ran a little off-tackle play here, and good job there. That's Reggie Hightower running up there behind Gary Harrell, Davey Kirkland, Merrill Culverhouse, and over there. Mike Solomon over there. Mike had another good game for us Friday night. Andalusia basically ran the good hard run inside by Gary Harrell. Gary did a good job for us here at the end of the year at fullback, and for a guy who really only played his senior year and we moved into fullback the 8th game, and I thought he just did remarkably well of picking up on the offense and playing hard, running hard, and that's a big play right there. We had a scheme going that we took our guard and kicked out on the end some, and they changed their defense up some and tried to key our guard and tried to run that linebacker through when we did that, and they were successful a couple of times at getting him through and making a big play like that. We come back here and try to throw the pass out there, and there's nobody open, and they over pursued it, and Les tucks it away and gets a good gain and makes first down. But Gary's done a good job for us, and he played good linebacker for us this year. I think if he'd had been able to play fullback and linebacker over a 3-year period, and here's the play, we're going to score, run a little trap up inside, and they over pursue a little bit. Gary makes a great cutback, and we put the thing in the end zone down there in a hurry, and not a whole lot of time elapsed, and the score ends up 7-7 here. And you can see our sideline guys on the sideline excited about it. And Randy, we hadn't broken many runs this year very much. Last week Reggie had about a 70-yard run, and we broke this one this week, and that's the kind of thing we needed, more big plays like that during the year.
That's right, and it's 7-7 now. Jamie Dubose 6 extra point to tie it up. So Bobcats move it right back down the field and score. And now Jamie Dubose will be kicking off.
Well, you know, I thought at this time that it looked like we might have trouble holding them down, but you know, I thought maybe we could come back and as I told one of our players on the sideline, you know, if it has to be a scoring battle, we have to just outscore them, and you know, we're going to do whatever it takes to get the job done. And I was a little, you know, they did a good job of shutting us down offensively to the point that they didn't allow us any big plays, and they didn't give us a great field position anytime by fumbling.
Antonio Edwards makes a tackle on the kickoff.
We had put they come here and run sweep outside, and Gary Harrell knocks him out of bounds over there. Antonio has not played a whole lot for us this year. We had played him on some kicking teams during the year, but we felt like going in we need to add a little quickness to our defense, and so we put him at a middle linebacker and just let him go to the ball, and that's him making the play right there. He does a good job, along with Gary Harrell, does a good job of going to the ball and has a little quickness about him. And he's tough, a little rack. We thought he might could help us some there. And it also, by doing that, allowed us to shore up our defensive end situation a little bit in there. We had some injuries and had to move some people and that kind of thing, and we were kind of low on defensive ends over there. And so we had moved Sonny Messer over there to help us out a little bit in the latter part of the year. And by doing that, it allowed us to, by putting Antonio at linebacker, you see how quick he is right there, Randy. I think it's Brad Cassidy.
Brad Cassidy making tackle.
By doing that, allowed us to shore up our defensive end situation. Of course, Brad went to the ball game. Brad Cassidy kind of bummed up anyway, and so it kind of helped us out a little bit, allowed us to shore up some areas that we're weak. And that's one of the things about when you get some injuries later on in the year, you get in a situation you might be able to put, you know, your 10 or 11 out there. They run inside power and break it off tackle here. And I think that's OBT and Johnny Leonard getting him down. But if you have trouble sometimes with backups, you get one person hurt, and it looks like what I used to call Chinese checkers around there. You had to move everybody around all over the place, try to get your best 11 people on the field. So that's kind of what we were doing. I thought that our coaches did a good job of trying to get our best people on the field and trying to get everybody with a capable backup in case someone was injured or whatever during the course of the ball game. And I thought they did a good job of that. They jumped off sides there. We ended up with a lot of people playing both ways this year. We didn't really go into the season with that kind of plan or philosophy. We knew there'd be one or two be playing some both ways, but as we got some injuries as the year went on, and we were counting on some others to come through for us that weren't getting the job done early, and we had to kind of double up a little bit. And that's kind of what happens to you sometimes. And you know, our players, particularly later on in the year, you know, we got ourselves in shape, and fatigue wasn't as big a factor as you might think. But you know, I think that it's obvious sometimes if you could just have your players playing one way that maybe they're a little fresher towards the end of the ball game. And that comes, you know, you've got to get more people out and get more quality football players that you can put 22. Basically, I think most of the year we end up playing about 15 players most of the time, and we need to be able to play 20 to 22 players all the time if we can possibly do it.
Lisa Antonio made a couple tackles there in a row, and Mike Solomon made a stop on first down.
Mike had a good defensive football game, did a good job getting off the blocks, running down the line of scrimmage. Every time their quarterback cut back, Mike was there to make the play. I guess Antonio was making play up over the top of the pile there. No, Antonio's only problem, he's not really very tall. He has a hard time seeing sometimes, but when he finally figures out where the ball is, he does a good job of going to it.
He is quick.
They come back and run a little play, and they complete for the touchdown. I got a little upset at the time. One of our linebacker was driving back to cover on the pass that time, and they blocked him about 3 yards deep in the end zone down there, and that's, you can't throw a pass block downfield at the same time. And, you know, by running that little sprint out like they do, that causes that situation sometimes. And you know, their blockers think the quarterback's going to run the ball, and he ends up blocking downfield, and then they're trying to throw the ball at the same time, and that's, you can't do those kind of things. So that we called a timeout here and try to make that clear to the official because we didn't want that to happen again. he's not going to go back and change the call like that because, first of all, he didn't see it. But, you know, we did make him aware of it at the time, and so that hopefully it wouldn't happen again later on. So they kick off to us again, score 14-7. And they got really pumped up and excited through here. And Steve Malcolm does a good job of bringing this thing back and breaks tackle there and gets thing on out for a good return out just the other side of the 30-yard line there. Andalusia has a lot of people who run well, and they cover kickoffs well. And they jumped in a really a tight line up in their defensive line. We hadn't been running play right where they jumped up in there, so we only get a gain. But really, we got back to about the line of scrimmage. So we come back here on second down, run a toss sweep out there, and Reggie does a good job making something out of nothing, gets about a 4-yard gain. And we had difficulties hooking their ends on a sweep play, but if you can't make the hook, what you got to be able to do is stay locked to him over there and drive him onto the sideline. And Reggie does a good job of picking up seams in the defense. We come back and run a little option play, and they run to the pitch, and our quarterback keeps the ball up inside. And we're just short of the first down by about
half a yard.
Well, it's about half a yard, and we were out of timeouts. Didn't have a lot of time to stand there and talk about it. And we were fortunate that the quarter ended about that time, and so during the quarter.
All right, Rat, like you said, it's fourth down and about a foot, and Bobcats going for it.
We run a quarterback sneak here. Les Sanders picks up the first down.
Second effort there, too.
Yeah, and, you know, it's just one of those decisions, man. You know, we're at the 40-yard line. We knew we could give them a good field position, but it's one of those, we're down 14-7, and the book sure tells you, not to do that. But, sometimes you just have to believe in your player and take a chance to come back here.
Right there.
Throw a route, or what we call a burn route down the sideline, and the pass is incomplete. And really good throw by Les. We completed several of those last year, and we've thrown them this year, and I can't remember us completing one, but we've had him open a few times where we overthrew him, and then we've
That's good run here.
A few times. Good job by Reggie Hightower breaking and breaking the tackle, run out there and having a big game there, and getting us in good field position. And we're down here inside 40. It was a good drive there.
Yeah, but just like we talked about, though, that's part of the season. Well, this year they won't go. Can't catch them. Seems like nothing happens good.
And we mixed another little quick pass out to Johnny Leonard for a good little game. That's one thing we probably, we should have been doing more of this year, throwing the quick stuff out there when we can. But most people try to take that away from us, and you've got to be able to throw those deep routes and get them off of you there. We come back and run a trap play up inside, and we missed. Looked like we had a little seam in there. We kind of missed following the guard there a little bit. And, it's easy to look on the film and say we should have been here, we should have been there, but it's a lot tougher up there sometimes when you run into football. The hole looks like it's there on film right there. When you're running, sometimes it's hard to see all that thing.
Oh, yeah, if we could go back and look at the film and be on the sideline up the stands and watch it, it's a lot easier to.
Well, somebody told me one time that we needed to go up there in the top row of the stands and call the plays. That evidently was a lot easier to call up there than it was down on the sideline. I know at home watching one on TV. Now, I don't have, I see those guys standing on the sideline. Sometimes I can't decide what play to run. I never have any.
That's right.
Standing up there, sitting up there on home on Saturday afternoon. I can tell them when to throw it.
I guess the ideal thing, Coach, we had never, I've had a lot of people tell me this before, but the ideal thing would be put about 8 or 10 telephones through the stands, let people call down there and tell you what to run. It might be a lot easier to do it that way, right?
Well, there's times I'd like to call up there and ask them what they think. It's
that was
funny.
A good first down.
Good job by Les there getting the first down. It's funny, Randy, that some nights it doesn't make a difference what you call. You make yardage on it, and other nights, no matter how great a call you might make calling plays, it just doesn't anything seem to go, and that's just part of the game of football. Run a boss play there, and they do a good job recognizing that and stacking it up.
Coach, it's nice to see our director has made it in. We're here watching ball game with the man that's in charge of the program. We're proud to see him come in and out. He just walked in the door, but we're proud to have him anyway, Mr. Russell.
Well, I tell you, Mike does a good job for us, Randy.
Oh, my goodness.
He does a lot of things for us. We appreciate everything he's done. And, you know, while he's working for our football program, a lot of times you just stand around eating. So.
Oh, well, don't you brag on him too much, Coach. But I'm proud to see him here. I thought he might be sick or something tonight, but we tried to have him anyway. This is long most, Coach. That was just...
Well, we thought we could throw the slant ends on him some there, and we faked, just threw it behind him over there and weren't able to get it. So we kind of faced down here with a do-or-die situation. We need to make the first down to keep our drive going, and we like about 8 yards to make it, and we come down here and we miss they stun a linebacker and he just runs right through us there. We just slow picking him up, and those kind of mistakes will kind of get you hurt. And so we have to get the ball back to them down there. And, you know, if we could have come down and stuck that one in at 14-14, and, you know, you just never know when what play is the big play in the ball game. You got to play them all hard. And looking back, a lot of times, most football games, you look back and 3 or 4 plays seem to make the difference in a ball game. But you never know when those 3 or 4 plays are going to come until after the game's over. You look back and you say, well, you know, we missed that tackle there and allowed them to score. And if we make that tackle, it's 4th down, they have to punt. And so, you know, you never know what play is going to be the big play in the ball game.
That's why you got to go out 100% every play and make the best. Now, this right here is what I'm talking about. See that? And it just, right there, it just goes to them.
Well, a really good throw, and kid, they just run right by us on the sideline, took a shot at it, and all of a sudden we got them backed up. Instead of having them backed up, now they down there on our 20-yard line. And that was a big play there, and that's one thing that we just really, we hadn't had enough of this year, big plays. We just, we'll break a run down through there, and we seem to make 5 or 6 yards, and just can't seem to break that big one. We'll complete a pass, but we don't seem to break that long run, or we run option play and make a few yards. We just don't ever seem to hit that seam and make the difference. And, you know, you got to do those kind of things. And when you can't break long runs like that, it makes things kind of tough. I know Alabama Saturday night, you know, if Humphrey breaks a long run down there, if he doesn't break that one, good chance they get beat. And, you know, they didn't move the ball a whole lot, but, you know, he made the one big long run down there. You've got to have those big plays. And that's one thing we hadn't had enough of this year.
Big plays is what makes and breaks you in a football game. You make them, you come out all right. If the other team makes them, well, you're going to be in a hole.
Well, that's true. And, you know, and again, there are a few plays that decide football game like that, a few big plays. And a lot of them occur on the goal line. A lot of them occur, you know, at other places on the field where a missed tackle or a missed assignment or something causes them problems. And good reaction back by Judge Booth. He just steps inside there, and that's just, he uses his natural ability to sidestep and get in the end zone. And tell you, man, we didn't quit it. We went down 21-7, but we had a couple other bad things happen to us here right here at the end of the half, but we didn't quit at all. We hung in there and hung in there tough at a period of times. Other times this year we hadn't hung in there tough during these time periods like this during the second quarter when things weren't going well for us. We let people build up too big a lead on us. But we put ourselves in a position that we could very easily get back in the ball game and hung in there tough. And we had a chance in the second half to do some things and that would allow us to get back and have a chance to win the ball. And we just didn't quite get them done.
Well, they just one long pass there from really being 14-7. And like you said, at the halftime, or would have taken that ball in that last drive, it could have been very easy 14-14 at the halftime. Well,
that's true, and you know, but I'll tell you, that's what I like about football. Some nights you can go out there and you can play, you can play really poorly at times, and then still have a chance to win a game if you can make some big plays.
Coach, you better watch out. I see Mike Russell got a microphone over on the sideline. We may be in trouble.
You may be in trouble. I talk good about him, man.
You know, I've stood back here all year for 10 games and sat and listened to y'all two talking. There's just no way you can get in on this program with you two guys. You know that. I've got the boss man waiting on me. So, listen, I appreciate y'all being here this year. I know it's tough. I know it's tough being here at every game, and I know both y'all get paid well to come up here every night, but I appreciate it anyway, and I know everybody else does. We've had great comments this year on Coach's Corner, and it's strictly due to you, Jamie. I wonder about Randy sometimes.
Well, Mike, I've enjoyed it. That was my first year, and I've enjoyed being here. I know that it's been tough for Coach Riggs and all, but he's fought through it hard and done a good job up here. And And I appreciate what all you do, which is not very much, but we appreciate it anyway.
Well, I'm kind of scared to say anything.
Let me say one other thing. I can't see the TV, so I don't know what's going on. It may be commercial time. Of course, I do the filming. Charles McBride does the videotaping for the coaches show on Tuesday night. And Natasha already is doing all the production work and everything that goes on here. So let's thank them and all the, I believe it's 28 commercial sponsors that we appreciate those to take care of all the expenses and everything that goes on in the football program.
Well, we sure do, Mike, and tell you, we've had a lot of good supporters, and there's been a lot of players. Some of those people, I know some of those sponsors have been sponsors and supporters of Bobcat football, not only this year, but for a lot of years, and we certainly appreciate that, and what all that they've done for us. And Mike, I appreciate what you do for us. I know you do a lot more than just help put this program on, and I tell you, everybody keeps saying it's tough for me to come up here every week, but you know, tough times don't last. Tough people do. I plan on being a tough person, and there's better times ahead for all of us, and I'm looking forward to that. But I wish I could sit here and say it's been a good year. It really hasn't been a good year, but I've enjoyed coming up here and doing the show, and I've always liked talking to Randy anyway. I always thought that's what he did best, and so I'm glad that we finally found something he does a real good job of.
That's what I feel like, too.
Let me say one other thing. I got to go to work.
Go to work?
Hey, you know, some of us have to work.
Who you trying to convince?
You.
Oh, okay.
Be looking on Channel 6 for something coming up in the future. I know this is Bobcat football, but we may change it to Bobcat basketball coming up in the near future. So be watching Channel 6, and I give Johnny Wood a plug for Bobcat basketball.
Good. Coach Wood. All right, Coach, a big halftime show by the marching black and gold, and we get started in the second half with the Bobcats receiving.
Well, and tell you, that kickoff, pretty sure don't end up, they kick the ball over there, and it goes in the corner, and that thing headed right for the sideline to go out of bounds, and all of a sudden it makes a left turn and comes back to us. So we get on it and run it back, but here we are starting the second half on our own 5-yard line, and that's certainly not where you'd like to be. And we run there off tackle there. Gary Harrell makes the game about 6 yards.
Second down. And backed up to start with.
That's backed up, but that just means you guys got to be tough and get that thing out of there. Oh, I tell you, we had a hole there, and just one guy trips us up over there. And
he might be still running.
Yeah, you know, we made an adjustment to it halftime, not much, but just a couple things. We'd moved the ball pretty good. We made a couple of adjustments, and I asked a poor call on my part. I ought to know what they were going to be in that time. And instead of running up inside, we've all been running off tackle over there, and I did a poor job with that one. But that is not the first poor one I've done, and I don't imagine it'll be the last one either, so we punt. And, you know, the kickoff actually ends up giving them the ball here in our territory. And for the most part, the second half, we didn't have very good field position, and they did. And I thought our defense kids just did a great job. Say Stephen Fuchs making play there. I thought they just did a great job of really just sucking up their guts and playing good, tough defensive football and not letting them in and trying to keep us in the ball game and give us a chance to win. They dropped back here and throw a deep pass, and they got us beat there, and they call the thing incomplete, and it sure looked complete from here. I don't know what he must have been juggling or something on those cycles. The official on the other side, the one that called incomplete after it hit the ground, and that's all whether he was juggling or what was going on.
Yeah, he's definitely juggling.
Well, anyway, so they come back here on third down, and
he likes that long pass after complete
he
one.
tries it again, and they're going for guys not running behind us over again if you don't complete it. So we get a penalty here, really a ridiculous situation that we made a real poor judgment and got a personal foul penalty. And those are the kind of things that get you beat. But we're fortunate that we make some good plays there. Judge Booth making a real good play. They're trying to run an option and block him over at defensive end. He just made a great play there. And we make some good plays through here to kind of keep him out of the end zone. But I tell you, after an interception there, we just didn't quite get the ball.
Could have been running down the sideline, too.
Judd has really played real well for us this year. And he's been a good, solid defensive football player, and there's a times that, from a team standpoint, we hadn't played a real good team defense, and he's worked hard and been a leader and tried to do everything we asked him to do. He's been our defensive signal caller, and he played hurt, and he's doing the things that you need to do to be a real good football player and to be a winning football player. And tell you, Judge one, I'm definitely gonna miss. Since I've been here over the last 2 years, he's been a good player, a good linebacker. He's not the biggest guy in the world or the strongest guy, but he's got a lot of heart, and he's done a good job for us, and I appreciate him. So they punt here, and thing gets in the end zone, so we come out okay, and we get the thing back on the 20-yard line. So good job by our defense there.
So the defense had to hold them back even after the 15-yard penalty and give a personal good defense.
Well, they do. We come back here and throw a quick pass outside to Johnny Leonard. His knee just goes down there. We get a gain of about 5 yards. We come back here, and I believe this play Gary's hurt on him, injured his ribs here. They come back here and hit him from behind there and tore some of the cartilage away from his ribs. And we had to take him out and put Stan Gooden in at fullback for us here. And so we got a third down play. And we were trying to throw the pass out there, and we got a little quick pressure there. And Les stepped inside, tried to make first down, but didn't make it. And so we ended up with a good gain on first down. We didn't get anything out of second or third down. We come back punt here and get another kind of short punt. And dadgum, I don't know what's wrong. We're going to get us some new footballs next year. Those always seem to bounce backwards and don't seem to bounce forward. I don't remember many punts this year we punted that rolled forward. We come back here and run off tackle there. And good play over there. That's Stan Good. And Antonio over there making the play. After Gary's injury, it kind of was so limited at linebacker. We just don't have very many, and kind of limited us to what we could run defensively. And thought our kids did a good job responding to it. We had to get the defense with Antonio at middle linebacker, and Judd and Sonny Messer at the defensive ends. Brad Caskey had bummed up his knee again, and by this time, and so we're in a situation we kind of makeshift type defense. And our kids hung in there tough, and we forced them to punt. And we did a real good. Actually, it doesn't look like it, but we did a good job of punt return. We were trying to hold them up. There was only one guy down there, and Reggie tried to make a move on him. The guy made a real good play, and so they penalized us and them for a little altercation afterwards, and we go on from there. I tell you, the officials didn't take any nonsense at all Friday night. And I guess that's where the game ought to be played. You know, games ought to be played in between the whistles. And there's a lot of other stuff that goes on. Sometimes ought not be going on. We dump a little ball there at OBT. He makes a good move there. Circles around and ends up down all the way down to the 45-yard line. So a big gain. We need that big play to get some good field position. We hadn't had it in the second half. And so that gets us some good field position. We need to drive down, score, put this thing back within a touchdown, and anything can happen then. And that's certainly what we try to do here. We come back and run a little counter play again, and only gain about a yard on it. So it's 2nd and 9. And we try to throw a little dump past our tight end. We float that thing up just a little bit too much there. And it's incomplete. So we're faced with a third down situation here and near midfield. And, you know, we're not desperate in a desperate situation. We're at the point that we don't make the first down. We're going to have to go ahead and punt the ball. And we come back here and throw a little quick pass out to OB Teague. And OB does a good job of catching the ball and getting down the sideline. Do a couple of good lead blocks over there by Reggie Hightower and somebody else, and we make the first down. So we got 1st and 10 on their 44-yard line and driving the ball. And we need to stick this thing in here. We come back and run off tackle there. And a good run by Reggie Hightower. And we were running the quick side over there, and we get a good gain and first down down on our 30-yard line. Come back, run a little sweep play here, and they do a good job stacking it up on the sideline over there. So we come back, lose about one. So we come back second and 11, and that's not kind of down to just a situation you like on second 11. On second down, to have 11 yards to go for a first down. We try to throw the quick pass, it's incomplete, so we got long yards, but we're at position being on their 31-yard line. We're going to take 2 shots at it. If we can get a positive play here, then maybe we can get a 4th and 3 or 4 or something. And so we come here, we run a draw play, and their guy slips off a block, tackles us at the line of scrimmage, so we got 4th and long. But, we're 14 points down, and here at the end of the third quarter. And
all right, going back in the 4th down bad here. Bobcats have the football.
Well, it's 4th down, and we come here and throw a halfback pass, and we had him open early there, but the free safety comes over and makes the play, and pretty good throw there by Reggie Hightower. And it's kind of one of those things that it was a good play to call at the time, but we were on the right hash mark over there. And it'd be better if you run in the middle of the field on the other hash mark. We had a little more room to work with, and the free safety being cheated over towards the hash mark because the ball was over there, was able to get in on there. And they come back here, and the corner gets caught up inside, and they get a good gain on first down, run the quarterback sprint out over there.
Sonny Messer making a tackle, or was that Les? I believe it's Sonny.
One of them. Both of them in there right now.
That was a good lick, but we didn't lock up.
Well, we didn't lock up on him there. And you don't knock, many good running backs, you don't knock them down.
Mike Solomon.
A lick, so you got to wrap them up. Well, Randy has so many people that help us out every year. And, I'm not going to attempt to name everybody, but I just want to say a thank you for all those who, folks like our doctors and folks, we got so many people at Luntford that give us ice all the time, and our radio stations and newspapers are good to help us publicize things, and so many other people have helped us with a lot of little things. We need a little help or a little information on this or that kind of thing, and it's nice to know that you can call and somebody give you a helping hand when you need it sometime for our players, and because we're all involved in a lot of activities and different things, and I know there's times that some of those folks probably really too busy to deal with us, and they always are there to be good and to help us out with things, and I certainly appreciate all the things that people have done for us this year. I certainly wish that we had a more successful season, but it didn't turn out that way. But we gave some good efforts at times, and we were just a little short at getting some things done, and I hope that we'll continue to work towards the goals that we set around here. A year or so ago when I got here, and we kind of get sidetracked and drop football. I think Mike Solomon gets on it here.
And Mike has some big plays. You finish that in a second. Mike Solomon and John Donaldson and Les Sanders all had some big tackles in that series there.
Well, they did, and Mike played real well. Mike Solomon played real well the other night. Mike and John Donaldson both be back next year, and don't expect them to kind of anchor things. That's a terrific catch, but he's just out of bounds.
Went up, caught the ball right in the middle of them, but foot came down out of bounds.
Of getting up and getting to the ball. We needed a big play during that time. We just didn't quite were able to get our feet down in bounds. But Randy, we appreciate all those people that have been so good to do things for us and help us. And tell you, I appreciate the efforts of our coaches this year. It's as the season progressed on, and we were disappointed with our season, and our players were discouraged, and they hit us from behind there, and I think they called an incomplete pass. And everybody gets discouraged when things aren't going well, and our coaches are human too, and they get discouraged by things, and thought that they did a good job of trying to give our players a chance to win every week. And I appreciate the time and efforts that they put in. Jack's in his first year, and he, tell you, Jack's going to be a really good football coach, and and I'm sorry that our season turned out like this, and I know he's going to be in on there's a lot of good things in coaching, I guess, but I wouldn't still have been in it all during this time, and he'll see some good times as things change and times go on, and I think he's going to be a really good one for the future. Good job of getting the ball out to Reggie Hightower by Les there. Coach Johnny Wood. Johnny worked with our secondary this year, kind of changed up his responsibilities, and he put some time and effort into that. And Johnny's real good to do some things around school. And I'll tell you one thing: if you ask Johnny to do something, you generally don't have to worry about it anymore.
Talks a lot too, doesn't he?
Well, he's talkative like you are, but he's done some things this year for us that. For me in particular, when I didn't have time to get it done or something, we just asked him if he'd take it over and do it, and he's always been real good to do that, and I appreciate Johnny. And Coach Robbie Smith has worked with our defense, and Robbie does a lot of extra film work and put time and effort into, trying to give our kids a good game plan and doing some studying so that on Friday night when he makes his calls from a defensive standpoint, he'll have a little bit of knowledge of what's going on. And Rob's got a great sense of humor, really made things kind of bearable for us when things got discouraging this year. And I appreciate him and his efforts. And also Johnny Grimes. I don't think that I could say enough about what Johnny has done to help me with particularly over the last year. And he has spent a great deal of time up at school this summer and working with the kids. And football at Alpine High School has always meant a lot to Johnny. And he's worked very, very hard this year. He's been extremely loyal to me. And Johnny, I just want to say thank you and greatly appreciative of everything that you've done. And I'll tell you somebody else I'd like to thank, Randy. I tell you, when you take a coaching job, you need a lot of help. And I think you may know something about this, when they hire you, I think they hire your wife at the same time. I'd like to thank my wife.
Yeah, that's a big one.
She does so many things to help me. And I think that probably this year, during this football season, from over the last 3 or 4 months, she has taken more crap and everything else from me and from a lot of other people than she certainly deserved. And I'm very, very appreciative to her. I don't think that we could operate very well around without her. And I just want to thank Becky for everything she's done. They come out here and just miss the pass there and overshoot it, thank goodness, and they had to step on us. And what we're trying to do right now is keep them from scoring and at the same time get the ball back. And we're still 14 points down. I just feel like maybe we can get the ball back. We've got a shot at driving down and scoring and onside kicking and getting the ball back. And I just always believe as long as you're within 2 touchdowns, you got a chance. And you got a chance if you can get the ball and if you can believe that you can get it done. And on the sideline, I know I told Les one time during the last drive down there, we need this play. We get this thing in the end zone, we're going to win the ball game. And as many problems we've had throughout the year and everything, I still believe that we had an opportunity to do that. And I tell you, believing is a big part of it. You got to believe in it, and I still believe that we can get the job done. So we get the ball back here. And
held them on 4th down.
Yeah, we held them on 4th down. Great job. And we get the ball back here, and now we've got to drive thing down and get it on the scoreboard. And Les is scrambling there, and he makes a real good run here and gets past midfield and gets down, I think, to their 47-yard line.
A little late hit there, 51 yards.
They attacked a little extra, something extra on there, and which helped out down there and got the ball all the way down. With one play, they make a mistake and have a penalty. And what it turned out almost like a busted play. We end up making about a 30-yard gain on it. So you just never know what's going to happen. Good job of shooting the ball in. We just aren't able to catch it. And so it's 2nd down. There's not a whole lot of time left in the game here. We're throwing almost every down to try to keep the clock running. We came back here and tried to sneak a little lead play in on them, get a good gain on it.
We could get this one in right here, like you said. That's still opportunity for that onside kick.
Well, you know, as long as you're within 2 touchdowns, you've always got that opportunity to come back here and they make the sack. And I think that we had
face mask.
Yeah, I think they face masked him at the time and when they got him down, and so they give him another penalty. And we got the ball down on a 25-yard line, and we've got to get down here and see if we can get the thing in. And we come back and throw, and that's not a bad situation. You know, we want to jump up and catch that ball if we can, and late in the ball game, we want the ball thrown up in the end zone with an opportunity to jump up there and catch it. They call in for pass interference, so we've gotten, 3 penalties have helped us out on this drive, and we drop back and look to throw, and there's nobody open, and we have to eat that one. So we come back and call a timeout, and we're down now to really just a little over about a minute left, and we come back, throw a little dump pass to our tight end. He gets down to the 3-yard line, and
Merle.
That's Merle Culverhouse, and so we've got to get the football in the end zone, and we come back here. And I think that at the time we had the ball, we could make a first down if we could get just back to the goal line. We had the ball just outside the 10-yard line, and so we run a off-tackle play there, and so we faced here with 4th down, and they stack up inside, and we toss a sweep, and we don't block the man on the corner there, and then they make the tackle on 4th down. We don't get it in, and you know what they say about hindsight. If I had one, I'd sure call another one than that one, but because I know that one didn't work. But I'd like to have a second shot at them, but you don't get a lot of second shots. And
that's the thing about this game. You got to do it at the last second,
yeah.
Whenever it is, and you got to go with it. And a lot of times you do a lot of things different.
Well, that's right. And so they come down here and run the clock out, and ball game comes to an end with the final score, Andalusia 21-7.
All right, that's it. All right, Coach. We would like to say something about Brad Cassidy, my old neighbor. He wheeled back in a while ago from Columbus, Georgia, with great news. He was worried about having to be operated on his knee, but found out that didn't have to have the operation. They just had to have the arthroscopic or whatever it is, however you say that. Or we was laughing about that a while ago, Kay and I and Doyle, about how they pronounce it and all. But anyway, they did something with the knee, and he's going to have to be down for 8 weeks with his knee.
It's turned out good. I talked to him a while ago. He said he just had a sprain of the ligament, so that's, he's proud of that, and I believe that's orthoscopic.
What?
Orthoscopic.
Okay. Well, we don't. What?
That's one of the things they've invented since you quit coaching.
Okay. But anyway, what I feel bad about old Brad, though, that means old Doyle, my old neighbor over there, that means all the yard work, carrying out the garbage, and all that left up to old Doyle. Now, Brad, you can't get up. You got to stay in that chair and let your mama wait on you, and let Doyle wait on you, and then we'll be back ready to go. And as Doyle said, he's worried about his golf game. Doyle plays golf about 7 days a week, and so he's going to get Brad back out there after he gets well. So we want Doyle and Kaden now to take care of Brad, and I think everything will come out all right.
Well, he can drive the cart anyway.
There you go. All right, Coach. That's a wrap, I guess, if you want to say it. That's a wrap, and I've enjoyed being with you this year. I know it hadn't been probably the greatest thing in the world, but we've had some good, enjoyable times, I guess it was. PM hadn't been too good and all, but I really enjoyed being with you, and I know they're going to be brighter days.
Well, there will be, Randy, and I appreciate you coming down and doing this every week. And thanks again to Mike and all our sponsors, and maybe we'll be back with brighter times on Coach's Corner next year.
We sure will. We've enjoyed this year, and like we said, that's it. That's a wrap. And if nothing don't happen, this show will be back next year. Good night.